I would like to deeply apologize to the Outback Steakhouse for the disturbance that happened last Thursday night. We had no idea this was going to happen, and me and my partner absolutely love your restaurant, and we are so deeply embarrassed by what happened. It is literally our favorite restaurant on the Gold Coast, and your staff has always been amazing, and they were especially amazing throughout the disturbance that happened on Thursday night. I'm also sorry to any of the families that were affected and just anyone that was in the restaurant having to deal with this entire thing. On Thursday night, my partner and I were lining up to be served at the Outback Steakhouse when I was approached by Emilee Hembrow and her husband. The history there is that my friend Charlotte Chant was in a very domestic, violent, and abusive relationship with Emilee Hembrow's younger brother, Henri Hembrow, which has led him to go to jail for the past year. The entire internet be talking about it as Charlotte is in the public eye, and obviously my platform always talking about domestic violence. So earlier this year, when I was dealing with, speaking about my own story about personal things that I had gone through, I had also shed light on the situation that Charlotte was going through and her court cases and such like that. I had posted various receipts of his family, enabling him, clearly posting him after, him almost unaliving Charlotte and also being in jail. Throughout me posting about Charlotte, there was a few things that I mentioned. Of course, I only speak truth and only speak things that are truly coming from my heart. I have not been sued for defamation by Emilee Hembrow, as her husband even admitted to me that night that they cannot sue me for defamation, as I have not lied about them. Everything that I've posted about Henri Thine or Henri Hembrow, Emilee Hembrow's brother, is completely factual. Things that you can find on the internet, legal documents and court dates, as well as photo evidence and the fact that Charlotte Chant is a good friend of mine. I was standing in line with my fiance when I heard a very condescending, constant babe, babe, babe in the corner of my ear. To which I turned, and it was Emilee Hembrow and her husband. She then started saying to me that I had been spreading lies online about her family and that she had papers waiting for me and that she was waiting to serve me. To then which I responded to her, "Serve me the papers. Where are they? Do you have them with you?" To which then she said that she didn't have them with her, and then she grabbed her phone and shoved it in my face and started saying a bunch of things like, "You've been spreading lies about my family. Do you have anything to say about that?" And X, Y, and Z. Now, she would have this video so she can post it. At the time, I had just found out some horrible news and also had just had my face lasered and was not feeling up to my best. I was agitated, so of course I started responding back to her. "Your brother is X, Y, and Z. Your brother did this, 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 and this. It's legal documents, it's court documents. He did X, Y, and Z to my friend Charlotte." So yes, I was agitated and yelling back. She had her phone in my face and obviously she was yelling at me. So I just was not in the best headspace to be dealing with this at the moment. Max was beside me, and at first he was very confused because he had no idea who these people were and honestly thought that they were going to ask us for a photo and maybe that it was somebody that watched our TikTok videos together, but that was not the case. So he was laughing, to which her husband, started to get involved by that point, and he was not happy at all. Amongst me saying things to Emilee like, "Your brother did X, Y, and Z," talking about the fact that he was in jail for just a year due to everything that Charlotte reported to the police and the fact that he's guilty and he pled guilty. She was saying things like that Charlotte is a liar and that I've been believing Charlotte's lies repeatedly. She was repeatedly calling Charlotte a liar and saying that I'm just believing Charlotte's lies and everything that Charlotte has said is a lie, and that he's out, babe, that she kept repeating, insinuating that her brother's out and that the police apparently let him free because he's out, to which I responded back to her, "He pled guilty, he was just in jail for an entire year." So if it wasn't already obvious to me prior, the fact that the Hembrow sisters have continued to post their brother throughout him being arrested, charged, then bailed out, throughout all of his domestic violence history, it is very obvious to me now that Emilee Hembrow defends her brother and is an enabler, in my opinion. Just going off of by when I had met her and what she was saying to me. While Henri was in prison, Charlotte was brutally attacked. I cannot really say the details of what actually happened to her, but it was very brutal. It was so brutal. And she obviously lives in fear. So because Charlotte lives in fear and she is just fearful for her life, she has relocated to a private place and lives her life completely differently than she did even just last year. As a good friend of hers, I will always defend her, and in this moment, I was defending my friend Charlotte. I was not going to let this woman of this disgusting man call my friend Charlotte a liar to my face. I think there is some sort of delusion or some coping mechanism that is going on with the Hembrow family for them to protect this man that has pleaded guilty to all of these crimes and served an entire year in prison. Amongst me talking about Charlotte and the new brutal attack that had happened to her, there is rumors around the Gold Coast that I have heard, and Charlotte has heard them as well, and Charlotte obviously knows these people. She thought other members of the family were or could be potentially involved with that. To which I said online that I am scared of Emilee Hembrow's dodgy husband. That is something that I said amongst saying everything else in my other videos. After having what seemed like a short screaming match with Emilee Hembrow in the middle of this restaurant, she then walked away to the table where her other family members were having dinner, and her husband was actually very kind and wanted to have a conversation with us, to which we had a conversation about everything and spoke about a lot. He seems like a very reasonable guy. Personally, I was scared of him in this moment just because of things that I've heard, but he came across as a very nice guy, to be honest, and he did condemn Henri's actions, to which Emilee never did, and she only defended him and called Charlotte a liar. He was very reasonable. He said that Charlotte has every right to feel scared of him if that was the case, but he just wants her to know that she doesn't have to feel scared of him. He was being really kind and suggesting to us that we would do anything for our family, and that's just what she is going through at the moment. She is wanting to protect her family, which I also understand. He also told me there was no papers waiting for me and that it just wasn't possible with the things that I actually did say. Outback Steakhouse staff did come to check on us multiple times to make sure that everything was okay with the conversation that we were having at the corner of the restaurant. By the end of the long conversation that we had with Emilee Hembrow's husband, I apologized to him for mentioning online that I was afraid of him and that I was no longer afraid of him. But I sternly said that I am not going to apologize for anything that I've said online regarding Henri Hembrow or anything that I've mentioned about Tammy enabling her brother by posting him on social media after all of his arrests. She was very rude, she was very mean, she was very horrible, and kept doubling down that Charlotte was a liar. We shook hands with her husband and we walked away. To then I told her that she should send me the papers and that I was leaving, after a rude response back to me saying sorry to her husband in front of her. I believe this woman thinks that her brother is innocent and that he went to jail for no reason, which is just not the case. I think that she's in a form of psychosis. I think that to cope with the fact that her brother is this horrible person, she has to believe that he's not. Other guests to the restaurant were also intervening and yelling, and it was just an embarrassing mess of a time. And I do just want to publicly apologize to the Outback Steakhouse again for everything that happened on Thursday night, and also tell everyone publicly that I am no longer scared of Emilee Hembrow's husband. He seems like a reasonable person. Again, the only person that condemned Henri Hembrow or Thyn's actions, and is seemingly just a reasonable man.